for Brett, if you can do a quick introduction for the team, and just highlights on what you've done in the last rotations.
Yes, thank you. So like Salim said, my name is Brett Olson. I've been with SICK for 1 year now. I'm in the rotational program, so I do 3 6-month rotations. And then at the end of those 3, I, along with SICK, pick a final job for me to take on. So I started out with MPM services. I did a lot of marketing brochures. I did some success stories. I did a big preventive maintenance revamp, and then a large competitive analysis for our services, along with plenty other projects. And then I just got done with my rotation in MPM serial products with GVCO2 specifically. With that, I worked on the phase out of our the UE48 relays to our new relay. So I made a lot of documents for that. I kind of took over the product manager role for that. So just communicating with everyone, trained distributors and everyone on the new relay. And I also did a lot of like product launches, and I did a lot of MAE role things as well. So I did like demo videos that I post on our Guerrilla marketing page, and more marketing content along with that. So I just started this week, and I will be with you guys going into January.
Saving the best for last. I like it.
Just through January. Come on. Sounds great. Welcome to the team.
Thank you. Yeah, I've met Eric. We did the polar plunge together. If some of you might know that we cut a hole in the ice up here in Minnesota, and we jumped in the water for fun. And then I've been working with Daniel this week as well. So look forward to meeting the rest of the team throughout my rotation.
Welcome, Brad.
Welcome, Brad.
Welcome on board. Happy to have you. We have this reoccurrence meeting on a weekly basis. What we do, oftentimes we do have training. If anything is set up through the team internally, or we have other partners and other colleagues. Alex has been usually giving us some of these trainings. He sits in with us on this call, and we have other activities. For today, we will take you through, I've got some slides here that I want to share with the team, and then we'll jump into the project dashboard. We'll look up at the KPIs, and then from your side, we'll look at the ongoing project, see where we stand on that, just do a quick, and then we'll look forward for the next weeks, what support is needed, and how we can collaborate together. Alex, do you have anything for today?
So this week I don't. I'm actually getting prepared for next week. I'm going to have more details on the remote service app, sensor app. I'm still kind of figuring it out as much as I can.
Okay. Perfect. Just looking up the slide here. Just one moment, please. I had it. Okay. All right, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So we'll take you through this presentation a little quick. And this was something that William and I just presented earlier this morning for the leadership team or for the LTS. And we had Steve Ryan on the call. So what this is a deep dive for the department. And I'll take you through that. So what this is a reflection of our KPIs, where we stand on the productivity. You always hear productivity 1, productivity 2. We'll do a quick refresher on that and then take you through the performance. How are we looking from a budget perspective? How are we looking from a productivity perspective? And then the details that would follow on the mosaic. So will be a good segue into that. William will show you some of the forecasts as well, just for situational awareness and how are things connected together. What are we also doing different? The collaboration along with the MPM, like with Alex, and we got a lot of things going on with Sorab. Many other things happening, but we'll go through that. Again, there'll be some terminologies here that we've been throwing out and using, so we want to make sure that this is full transparency and also for the awareness of the team. So if you have questions and follow-ups, by all means, please address that, and then we'll come back to it. There's a lot of content in here. So what this is, that we have an executive summary for the services team, and this is the S&SI team here. That's the cost center breakdown, and then we have productivity 2, productivity 1, we have the rest and service rest, and then what's the expenses and where do we fit, where do we stand. So productivity 1, is basically our billable projects or our billable hours. So we as S&SI, as a direct labor organization, we have our cost center. All of us are classified as billable. So that's where productivity 1 come into play. Every project that we have a PO for and the customer is paying externally. Productivity 2 is a combination or summation of prod 1 plus any other activities like sales, customer facing, anything we're doing, and we are charging internally to a cost center other than the S&SI cost center. And then anything that doesn't fit between the two, whether we are doing training or it could be not doing anything, that would be outside of those two. So we would either be, technically speaking, we would want to reach 75% of productivity 1. That's the ideal number. That's the goal. It's been realized that S&SI is a startup company, or division, I should say. So we were given this service trust we were given like a gift for this year, and this is what we've been talking all along, and we've got allocated hours through sales to charge to internally in efforts to close that gap. So although the target number is 75, we were given a much lower percentage forecast or targets to meet, and it's designed to crush that. We were doing great since the beginning of the year. Then we got hit with the pandemic. Things changed a little bit. We'll show you where we stand. We'll look at the history on that. How are we trending? And also what is currently going on, and where did we pivot? What are we going to do about it? So, but these are the numbers up to May. We are within 5%, actually below forecast for Prod 2. We are spot on for the forecasted Prod 1 at 29%. So there's a lot of room in there to improve. It's all dependent on projects and the customers and what have you. But we are all in it. That's why when you guys are doing activities with sales, internal activities, it's all in efforts to bring in sales and bring in business. So it's all complementary. It's all interconnected. On the service trust, basically, what this means, we have $1 million in REST, and given that we charge and we work with sales and other internal departments like MPM, for example, most of NIC time goes into MPM. A lot of other activities goes into the FALA and PA for sales support. So this is on the and on the expenses, we are looking good. So basically, we are in favor on service trust. The expenses are 16% in favor. That's the delta here. We're at 84%. And just going in a little quick here, the goal for the expense is 15%. We're negative 16% for this month, which is a good negative. The data for last 3 months, so March, we were at 11%, still within the goal. April, we're minus 12. Again, it's a good negative, and then we're still trending in that. We're not traveling too much except for the essential activities. So big thank you again for the team that's on the front that are going around and executing, the UPS team. We have some customer-facing activities that Daniel and Abdul, I know you guys were out there and you're going in next week. William, you've been around following customer and going in on site, doing travel. I know Chris is also there. So basically, most of the team is out there on these essential activities. And big thank you for the UPS guys. They're on a rotational basis. They're out there every week. So thank you for that. With all these considered, we're still in favor for expenses. So we are managing our money carefully there. Now, what the trend look like, and this is the, according to this graph here, so Prod 1 is this orange, and this was last year. You see how it's going up and down. And it was mainly driven with the SBD activities, and we had some other projects that we concluded throughout the year. Now, 2020, we started out good. I mean, if you look at the forecast, we were beating the numbers, but then we started, dripping down here because of the COVID-19, and we had projects. I won't say canceled, it's more like pushed out or put on hold. And then in April, it kind of picked back up a little bit. We were finishing the Alcon project that Gary and Mohammed were supporting, and kind of, went back down for May. But for the month of June and from April and up, we pivoted. We started leveraging more the support allocated hours and working closely with sales and supporting these initiatives that will go through. So we are trending in the right direction. We learned today there are projects that the LTS team are challenged with from a capacity perspective, and they will be reaching out, and there will be a need for our team to plug in and bridge that gap. So don't know too much details on that. We know we have orders coming up, and we would need to support that. So more to follow as we learn more about it. A good example on this one also, this is on a side note, we have an approach from PCA. So they have a project through Amazon that their LTS team didn't have the capacity, so they reached out and it's an IVC application, so they want to do preparation and the legwork up at the Bloomington office, and there's a 5-week need for a full-time personnel to support that. That would be August through the first week of September, so for 5 weeks in there. That's an example. So we'll share more details there as I got the breakdown from Sunil on that, and there'll be similar needs through the LTS coming in from the LA space. So that will help the overall business altogether and would help us also with the utilization. And then equally important is getting the trainings on these systems so we can lead with that and support it next round. So these are the numbers that I was referencing. If you look here at this, 18% would have been that forecasted numbers that we were given. And then the productivity to 40%. If you look at January, we were at 35%, almost double the expectations here. We were above 9 points above the forecast for productivity 2. So we were trending good. We were doing great here. Then we got hit with the COVID-19. So you see the numbers are dropping. 20, we should have been at 32, 46, we should have been at 53, and so on. So we do have a game plan to bridge this and minimize the gap. And at this point, I hand over to William. He'll take you through a little bit more details there on Mosaic, and we'll show you the forecast. So before I do that, any questions on this? I know I'm throwing a lot of things at you. We've been circulating this, but any questions before we move on?
I think you put everybody to sleep, Salim.
I do a pretty good job at that.
I'm good here.
Which is good.
No, I'm also good.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you like to go through this in further details, we'll be more than happy to do that. We will do this on a monthly basis as we prepare for the deep dive. At times, probably going to pull it more often, especially when we are challenged with these numbers. I wanted you to know and get a understanding of how these numbers plug in together and the significance of our engagement. So these are KPIs we're measured against, but we are plugged in across the board. So there'll be more to follow. This is a reflection of where we stand. That's the bottom line. And we have on the Mosaic pages all of this content in there for full transparency. So I look forward for, if you need to know any other details. But I'll switch to William right now, and then that's going to be complementary to what we're talking about here from a project perspective and from the KPI side. So, William, all yours.
All right. So one of the first things we'll go over is our revenue stream. We didn't share all of this with the team this morning because a lot of it gets covered in the monthly deep dive, which is actually next week. But I'll quickly go over it with you guys so that you're aware of where we stand overall. So as you guys know, we're kind of tied in between GBC 05 and GBC 06. And as a department under CAM, we have these target budgets for $500,000 for GBC 05 and $1.8 million for GBC 06. So out of those two numbers, the numbers to follow are just what S&SI is contributing to those. So as you can see here, our expected GBC05 revenue actually exceeds the target budget. So good job on us there. So far this year, we've invoiced to this point almost $340,000 of that 517. So we're doing pretty good there. On the GBC06 side, you know, a lot of that was probably going to come from the SBD jobs that have been delayed. So hopefully some of the other teams can help pick up the slack, or you know, maybe we'll find some new jobs. You know, we still got 6 months in this year to bring in more work. So you know, much room for improvement there, but you know, things are coming along well. Quotes pending. So in GBC05, we have $158,000 of quotes pending that we expect to hit this year. So that'll add to that $517,000 that we already have. And then we've also got about $94,000 lined up for next year. So that'll help towards next year's budget. On the GBC06 side, we currently have just shy of $1 million pending. So again, if some of those projects get approved by the customers, you know, that'll go towards our yearly budget. We look at the breakdown on how our quotes have been so far this year. These charts basically show the same thing. Difference is the chart on the left shows a monetary value of all those quotes. The chart on the right is just a count. So you can see we had 27 quotes this year that we've sent out. We've won 8. We have 2 currently pending. We've lost 3, and I've already updated this, Salim. So we have 14 that have been delayed, and those are those 14 SBD plants that we were expecting to hit this year. And as you can see, you know, that's $2.7 million worth of expected revenue. So it hurts a little bit, but you know, we'll definitely see a lot of that probably hit maybe next year. And then this is just an overall breakdown of every quote that we've sent out this year, the different values on them, and we can sort them by won, lost, delayed type thing. So that's kind of where we sit on a proposal looking back ahead. And then we did switch into our project view, but I'm going to jump over to our forecast first, since we'll do a lot more talking about our project page. So as far as utilization goes, I know this is the graph that we are using. So we have 2 different targets. Our productivity 1 is in the blue, our productivity 2 is in the orange colors, and they read the same way. The light color is our forecast. That's what Salim and I sit down and we try and figure out what jobs are coming in, when they're going to hit. And we try to average things out and, you know, look forward at where we're going to go. The middle color is the actual values that come in. So like this month, we just got the numbers for June. So our prod 2 came in at 49%. We forecast 27%. And then the darkest color is going to be our target. So you can read, you know, across the line, you can see January, we started off above target for prod 1 and prod 2. February, we continued that trend. COVID hit in March, and you can see we started not hitting our targets. Moving forward, you can see our productivity 1 kind of fluctuates above and below our target. Again, this is forecasting. We're hoping some jobs come in. If they don't, you know, our forecast will decrease. Again, some of the work that we found out about this morning with the other teams, we can go help them out. That will help our productivity 1 as well. So we're all in for, you know, helping other teams. You know, it's that whole win as one unified team. They need the help, and we have the bodies to help them. You know, and we'll learn something in the process. So looking at things overall, we're not too bad, but working with those other teams will definitely help us out and, put us in the green, and everything will work good. So moving on from there, we have our flow board. Probably everybody except for Brett is familiar with this. And Salim, do you want to, go more in detail on these and get more updates, or how do you want to proceed from the project standpoint?
Yeah, thank you, William, for that presentation. This is all good data. For the team here, just want to point out there's a lot of content, and it's not an easy process just to put these numbers together. A lot of it is manual driven, and William's been very instrumental on putting that together. And not only that, is actually also the implementation and leveraging Mosaic page. So it's all live in there. There's a lot of content that populate those charts. So great job on that one, William. That's helping us tremendously to have the data on our fingertips, but it took a good bit of effort. So it's good. It brings full transparency. We will be referencing that as we continue to meet here. And on this format, so basically what we took you through is our story, right? What's going on? We're looking back in the mirror. These were the numbers. This is what we had proposals out. That's the value. This is what happened. And then William jumped into the forecast intentionally to show you how is that lookout. Now, this would change as we speak, because we learned today there's a need. So that's those ratios would change in favor for the prod one, for billable. We will be sharing that as we go on. The beauty about this, it's all live. So once this is ready, we'll continue to populate it with the team. And then in the interim, and then where we pivoted the last couple of months, is that view of the project. So to your question, William, I think you put it very well. The way we like to do that is we'll go through these projects and let the team who's leading that to guide us through and say where we stand on it. If there's any hiccups, if there's, just give us a quick debrief. So there are some of them. I'm on that one. I'll kick that off, and then we'll switch on to the leaders of for these other projects who's owning that, and then give us a quick debrief. So I'll start with the ventilator, and that one is we started this one as a Blue Ocean initiative, and then this right now sits under one of the Reimagine now. It's one of the 6, and these are the hyperlinks. You can go in there and look up more details. But the one thing is worth mentioning here. What we came up with is a playbook for the offerings that we can do around asset tracking. It's not necessarily ventilator. We call it medical tracking, but it could be extended to anything beyond that. And then we also, working with the marketing team, they were able to buy a software to do animation videos. So it's a 1 or 2 minute video. Those would be all in there. They are also working on similar videos or animated videos for other ones, like the elevated body temperature, which is the second one, is the same approach. So I think we've went through these from a high-level overview. I believe everybody knows what these are, and you can dig more into this. But we on the elevated body temperature, we're partnering with a company, a software company that handle the software portion. We have our hardware in there. There's a flare device that's going to do the pick up the temperature, and we are in process of implementing that at our Savage facility for a trial. So more to follow on that, but we've got we had a demo yesterday through this company. It looks promising, and we're trying to test it out in our facility. So that's coming up. And the last one there is the physical distancing. That's also an initiative where we're working with MPM systems, working with Saurabh and Tom. Chris Casey is leading that on our side. He put some nice dynamic dashboards for that, and it's coming along pretty good. We will share those videos with everyone. But William, let's do this. I want to test this out. Can you go to the health safe? Go to that Mosaic page, and you guys will see a lot of details in here. But there should be a video that Brian just posted. I think he put it in the comments section below. What I wanted to try is if you play that, that animation, right there. Okay, go ahead and pause it, William, for a second. The test I wanted to do is we see it. I can see it playing, but we can't hear it. Can anyone?
I can take my mic off mute. Playing through my computer speakers.
When you share your screen, you have to change it to a different setting. There's a drop down that optimizes for text, and one optimizes for video and shares your system audio.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That's the test I wanted to do, because a lot of times we'll be presenting something and there's no audio. So
yeah, it's in the share content. That doesn't exist if you're using WebEx events. It only works in WebEx meetings right now. WebEx events has a different process.
Okay, so this is a WebEx meeting.
Yes. So
is it?
Yeah, and it'll also give you better playback when you do it that way, because it'll have a faster screen frame rate.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, it goes to 30 frames a second instead of 5. It does take more bandwidth, though.
Okay. That's the technology we are using. It's all 6 products, by the way. Talking about lighter, there's RFID unit, and here's a personnel crossing into that zone. Think of that as a station. So it picks up the RFID, and everything is good because there's no one else in there. So that's all good until another person comes in. Now you have 2 people within that 6 feet zone. So it needs to trigger an alarm that, hey, you're not maintaining the physical distancing. So that's the alarm popping up. Now he or she is exiting out, and the alarm should be cleared out because nobody else is there. It also provides the visualization for the same concept applies for cleaning, right? So 2 things is maintaining the physical distancing, so that's the contact tracing, and then customers also want to ensure that the cleaning took place and it's all legit. So again, this is the beauty about these videos, as you've seen, this is like it's not even a 2 minute, it's 1 and 40 seconds. It's straight to the point, very direct, and it's a great marketing material. So we worked with Brian Seller on that, and he was able to purchase the software, and now he's migrating a series of those offerings and putting some nice content together in this animated video. So that is promising. We have some customers, they are interested with that, and we are plugged into this one. Like I said, Chris did the dashboard. There's a TDC play maybe down the line, but this is handled through our SIG products, and it's coming along nicely. So we're looking forward for that one. So these are you'll see we have one for the ventilators as well. So if you guys can follow the links, and you can get in there and you see that. And he's putting together one for body temperature, he told me yesterday. So these are 3 big initiatives we are plugged into. There's one more actually around virtual that Chris is supporting. So that makes like 3 or 4 of those big ones. And then the next one here is the San Francisco demo. But before we switch to that one, any questions from the team on any of those initiatives? What do you guys think of this animated video?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, they're super effective. I think it's great.
Okay,
What
perfect.
are the inputs for the video? Like, how do they bring in objects and stuff like that? Do you know?
It's I think there's a library there, and then as you type in or you look for certain thing, it gives you a good variety of available objects, and you can add in like on the ventilator one, we have like our RFID gate and images, and I think it's very flexible to integrate or add in any other images from our side. So it's and it's pretty flexible. Brian is able to do that in not much time. So the first couple of ones took a little bit of time, and now he's rolling this out for other offerings, which is awesome. That's exactly what we want. We can, I'm sure every one of us here, the takeaway is as you have your projects and activities going on, we can, reflect on this and build these animated videos where it makes sense. I can think of a handful, even more. There's presentations that we were putting together and trying to animate it and build it. Okay, it's all good, but we can translate those to the same animated video. So as you think through that, let me know, and we'll work together with Brian. There's one license, but I think we can he can take that on, and he's got some help also through an intern, I believe. So just think through it and let me know, please.
I'd be interested to know more about how we customize it, like what type of files are required.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll can get with Brian and see what's the offerings there. Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, so next one on the list here is the San Francisco demo. And for this one, we've got like most of the team actually supporting that, between William as the program manager, overseeing all these pieces and stitching it all together. We have Nick and Eric, they're supporting the PLB, PLR, and the robotics side of it. Chris is supporting the ultra wide band, excuse me, for localization, indoor localization, and also the putting the backbone and setting the networks and working with IT on that, and also working on the huddle house, which is the visualization and the dashboard. He's using dynamic dashboard, and so it's all in place. Abdul is supporting him there where needed, and I've been plugged in from the get-go with the with sales with Jerry and Dan on that one. So we have that going on. So we have a hiccup on the allocation for the hours and paying for it. So right now it's on hold. If you get something going on there, we need to switch to support something else until they get that figured out. So, but I think we're already at halt anyways because of parts. But if you get something related to that one, we need to hold that. This is until we get that figured out. Like the approval is hanging up in the air. They're figuring that out. So I want the team that's engaged with that one to know that. Okay.
Does that mean if we haven't ordered something, don't order it right now?
We actually currently cannot order anything. We're still waiting for the whole paperwork process to go through. We got a verbal from the management board, but before we can actually start ordering parts, the purchasing department wants something written from them. So we're working on that. But yeah, no parts have been ordered yet. Once that gets cleared up, then we'll start ordering parts. It's just the manpower hours at this point is up in the air.
Yeah. So so that explains the purchasing. The other thing, if you're working on a design or putting any efforts on that needs to stop for the time being.
That was more of my question. Right now, I haven't given the final asset allocations and everything to send to the management board. So are you saying not to give that, or are you saying to do that and then stop?
For that portion, I mean, what's left, Nick? Do you have it ready, or what is?
I have to. I'm still finishing up getting the design placement for the safety system and for the electrical system. So I don't have any final numbers for a few things until I do that. And then I have to break it down into assets under 22,000 so we don't have to go to Germany for approval. And that's when it can go to the management board, according to Dan.
I'd say let's talk with Dan in that group. I know we've got a meeting at 12 o'clock with everybody. We'll bring that up and see where all that stands.
Yeah, we'll touch on that one. There's a debate going on capitalizing the labor hours or using that allocated hours that we have through sales. That's not finalized right now, and the direction is to hold up on any services or labor or efforts for San Francisco till that is done. So that would include what you mentioned, Nick, in this case.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, hopefully this gets resolved soon, and then we just get back on track with that one. That's there's a lot of engagement for us on that one, but it has to be hashed out, and management board will be deciding on that one very soon. It's on their agenda. So with that said, I'll move on to the Niagara Waters. That's a serial integration that Chris is supporting. that's actually some testing is going on as we speak. They're mocking up a system with the serial product. I believe it's not sure if it was a lighter or VMS. I'm not really certain there. But what this is, they're doing coming up with a solution to guide the truck as it backs up to the docking station. So think of it at a facility. There's this light prompt, and then more importantly, as it backs up, that there's a clearance in there for the forklift or for the operators to load to the truck. So that's from a high level perspective. It's very promising. What Chris and Mike Green and couple AE from the serial product side, initially they were going to test this at Niagara, but there were some policies or some concerns there from customer side, so they're not able to do it. But they didn't stop the efforts. They were testing the last couple of days. They parked or camped up in one of the parking lots near to Chris Place, and we're mocking up the system. They rented a trailer, or not a trailer. They mucking it up. So they have a frame in place. They're trying to mimic the a loading station. So that's probably still going on right now. Maybe that's probably why Chris is not able to join. I know he's tied up with the team over there, but that's an interesting one. The just the story here is that this team is not giving up. I mean, customers said, "Hey, come visit in." It was a facility in Phoenix or near Phoenix, and they said something happened there around safety or lockdown or what have you. But this team didn't want to wait. They said, "Hey, we can mock this up." So Chris was trying to set this up at his in front of his garage, but that doesn't cut it. So they expanded this, and they're trying it out in one of these parking lots out there, and will be exciting to see how that will go. And then we'll take that recording and pass it on to the customer. I mean, it tells a lot about dedication and the passion for what we do. That's the gist of it. And where this goes is equally important, but we applaud them for that. So the next one is Abbott, and I think Gary, you were supporting that along with Chris. Just give us a debrief of where that stands and how's it looking right now.
There's really been no change on that one. Really no activity on it lately. So nothing else to report there really.
So where do we stand? Did they have the proposal, or did Mike or Jim, did they present it to the customer? Where are we on that?
I don't think they've presented it to the customer yet. I think it's just just kind of on hold.
Okay. Can you dig more into that? I think that this was stressing for a little while, and we had a lot of people jump in and work it out. And if it's not presented to the customer, that I'm wondering. I mean, it's like hurry up and wait. That's not a good practice, right? So I'd like to learn more what's happening. I mean, it was at a point, okay, everybody hands off, drop everything, and focus on this one. So we pulled the PCA playing there. There's a serial MA team. We from S&SI, CPM pre, and this is a good 2+ weeks. And if it wasn't presented to the customer, I mean, that's not a good indication. So please find more about that one. There might be some good reasoning, but I'm curious to see what's happening in the background.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Gary. On UPS, between William and Daniel, I know you guys are both supporting that. Just give us a quick update where we stand for those as well, please.
All right, yeah, I'll take those. So we got 5 of those right now, I believe. So they're all systems integrations, upgrading some conveyors, and putting some print and applies. We've had initial meetings with SF Express and TIFCO to come up with a solution for them. Haven't heard much on those 2 recently. Hibbett Sports, we are currently, we've heard back from the customer. They are interested in our budgetary estimate, and we are currently putting together an official proposal on that one. Scripps, I believe they've also got the budgetary estimate out to the customer, and we're just waiting to hear back from them. But yeah, all of these are conveyor, divert, print and apply type projects that UPS has brought to us. These are all UPS customers, and they're trying to grow and solidify their business, and then asked us to partner with them. So, you know, great way to bring in new business.
Okay, thank you, William, for the update there. For the rest of the team, as you see, we have a handful of those. There's more coming. So we will be calling in on some of the team members. So in preparation to that, we'll, as we find out more, we will step you into those. So it'll be good exercise to learn more about these. And each one of them has a project page with a lot of details that the team is diligently going after that and keeping it current. So stay tuned for that one, and you will be pulled in at one given point to support. The next one is SBD Decatur. So that one is actually on hold. We're waiting on SBD to tell us how they want to go about that one. So I would just keep it where it sits right now, William. And then next one is the Michelin through Swisslog. Daniel, what's happening with that one? What's the latest?
The Swisslog one, I followed up with sales earlier this week. Swisslog is happy with our proposal or with our proposed solution for that, and they presented it to Michelin, but Michelin didn't give the go ahead yet. So there's no more feedback. We're still waiting for Michelin and Swisslog to come back with a PO. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, let's see what that brings. So thanks for checking on that. And then if you hear anything in the interim, this is for everyone, right? Once any major updates happen here, you should be able to go in and put a note or make that reference. So it doesn't necessarily have to wait for the next week. So this is applicable on any one of those. If you need help with that, please reach out to either William or myself. Okay, so hopefully we'll have some good news going forward on that one. Thank you, Daniel. AIDT, that's between William and Abdul. Just quick update where we stand there, and when is the next training schedule?
Yeah, so we revised our proposals based off of the COVID delays and got the first one back out to AIDT. We're expecting a PO from them anytime now. The first course kicks off at the end of this month, the last week, I believe it's the 27th, and we'll have 6 courses between now and October, and then I believe there's like 5 or 6 more between October and December, and then the remainder for 2021, 25 courses in total. So we're looking pretty good, and AIDT and Mercedes is really pleased with the work that Abdul, me, and even Celine has done over the past year or so, and heard rumors that we might even grow that business some. So good job, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, William.
Thank you, William. Yeah, I thought I did okay over there, so that's good. That's great. That's actually a good partnership with AIDT. For those who don't know what that is, it's the mediator through the Alabama Institute Department of Training. They give Mercedes every year a certain number, like an incentive or a budget, and efforts for the company, in this case Daimler, to train their employees. So they're basically giving them a grant, and the idea is to train upskill their workforce. And they have it extends more. It's all the agreement is like most, if not all, of the workforce need to be from the state. So it's a win-win situation at the end of the day. And we have won this, and we won this one big. We won this over Siemens and other competitors, and they keep extending and expanding our offerings for the training. So that's it's working very good. I applaud the team there, William and Abdul doing an outstanding job. And as William said, there's more to come on that one. This is around Siemens platform. It's not just the Siemens, it's the hardware, the software. There's more Daimler specifics, and so we do that for them. There's about 10 courses, and then we do the finals and the grading. So it's pretty significant for that. And then they look up for us with like their trusted advisor. They've given us the full blown, and we even change the curriculum and help them throughout that. Now, they have a need for Rockwell side. There might be a play for us in there, and then we will pull in someone from the team to kind of help with that one. It's as you see, this is close to a full-time position for S&SI personnel, and it gives us a lot of exposure for the customer, and it's a good segue to take on projects and help the Mercedes team. So it's a good place. It's very it's similar to the UPS strategy, and we're not in the business just to go in and do auditing for UPS, for example, or just go in and train Mercedes personnel. It's a way to get in, build that intimacy with the customer, build the trust relationship, and then expand on that to do more offerings. That's a key. That's one way that can get us in, and that seems to be working pretty good. So UPS is a perfect example. Mercedes, we had the opportunity to bid on a $2 million job earlier this year, and we lost that one, unfortunately, but that was more reasoning for us on our side internally, because we couldn't do it as a prime supplier. Third-party content were over 60-70%, but the story here is that we are seen as a trusted supplier or a trusted advisor. To get on the table with these guys, it takes a lot. So it's all connected, and that's the idea. That's what I want to leave the team here with, is that intimacy, that relationship with the customer. It's all about relationships, and what we do for them and how can we support them. So that's the intention there. Next one is SBD for plan and prep for data integration. We just learned from them a couple of days ago that this plan and prep, what it means is a site survey, and we were separating this from the actual work, and that's how it typically works. So right now we're working out a game plan with the customer, in this case Stanley Black & Decker, to kind of bake all that in with the overall proposal, so they can pay for that lump sum or for that overall cost, and still get us in their facilities. So with that said, there might be a couple or 3 sites they still want to do this year, maybe in a couple months or so. So that's still live, and we're working out the details in the background. So more to come on that. The next one is Toyota, between Daniel and Abdul. How's that training going? And I know you guys are planning a trip next week, so tell us a little bit more on that, please.
Yeah, the training is going well. We've got another session this afternoon with Brian. It's quite complex, his programming style in it. A lot of things where he's doing what I'm not 100% sure why he's doing it the way he's doing it. But we're getting around to the program, and it makes a bit more sense. And then we're going there next week to see what Brian is doing on site, how to optimize the line, and to get more training from him on the IVC 3D.
Yeah, we also had a good exercise where Toyota sent some failed images.
Okay.
That were actually good parts. So we were studying those together, me and Daniel. This also helped us to understand more the program and how to adjust it to accommodate for such false failures, which most of the time what Toyota would need in future. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So I think that's the what was the technology for that? Which one are we talking about? IVs? Which one is it? I forgot.
It's the IVC camera.
IVC. Okay.
Yeah, 3D laser profiling. Yeah.
Okay. So realizing that technology, I think it's phasing out, but I think the outcome out of this is getting the more hands-on and training around 3D. So is that what do you guys think so far? Is that coming along pretty good? Is it been beneficial?
I think it's been really beneficial. We have a better understanding how to look into 3D images, but I'm sure 3D world is a big world that we would need more exposure to. But this is a very good start. That's my that's how I see it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I tend to agree. It's a good. Brian is very knowledgeable with 3D and with the IVC especially. He was the product manager for the IVC for many years in GBC08. Before he left sick, and when he came back, he started in sales. So he really knows the IVC 3D inside out, and I think with this project for Toyota, he's pushing it to the limit. I think there's a lot of things that we see in there what was I would never thought it would be possible, or think of doing it in a way like that. But he's really using the tools that he's got very well. And it's a good thing to learn from him, I think, and especially with 3D also. although this is a limited application, just looking at the beat. But I think it's good tips what we're picking up from him.
Okay, well that's good to hear. And then as you guys train on this, and I know you're putting a training material together, which is I hope that's helping you guys out, ask all these questions, and as you prepare for it, the idea is we want to share that with the rest of the team, and this is all in efforts to build that competency and upskill the team on vision. With that said, I want to bring up the Excel sheet that we started and we kept referencing and updating, and it's built in a way that it's constant. It's evolving from capturing the timing, but that's the one piece of it. I'd like for each one of the team to go back and update that list. So William and I will post this and we'll put it somewhere so it can be you can find it. We had it on the S drive. We'll put it somewhere on Mosaic. But the bottom line is we want you guys please to go back, update that, especially around vision, but it's not necessarily just that. Anything that you've learned in the last 6 months or year or last time you touched it, let's go back and update it. And I was stressing on vision because of the gap and the need for that within the organization. And we've been looked at to bridge that gap, but we know it takes a lot of this preparation. That's why we're leveraging Brian. In this case, we're leveraging the app space application that that some of the team members here are plugged into. Some of this relate to the PLB, PRR that Nick and Eric are working on. But I'd like to have a better view and understanding on where we stand. Yeah, if you have that handy, you can pull that up, William. If not, we'll share it with the team. But I'd like for that to be updated by next Friday. So please do that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll throw it up on Mosaic by the end of today and share it with the team.
Yeah, there's a lot of stress around vision. I mean, this is 2020, right? It's the year of vision. We call it also year of service, but we are an integral part to that. So moving on, the Sumitomo, what's the latest on that one, Daniel?
The first trip back will only be for the cycle, Sumitomo cycle, what Vince is doing. Vince didn't go back yet. The HMI is done. They want him back on site, but they can't schedule him for July. I think it was middle to end of August. That's the first time he can go back to site. And so from our side, site ball is complete. It's just Vince must just do the final visit there and hopefully the final visit. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The 3M opportunity.
That was the that was the install at the 3M in the Culp in Illinois. So it's just outside of Chicago. That was installed, and there's a follow-up what needs to be done later with the upgrade of the package analytics. They're still, as far as I know, they're still busy with the development for the new version of the package analytics, so that the 3M site can be connected back to the head office in St. Paul. So the package analytics will be installed in St. Paul and on site, and that process is not completed yet.
Okay. All right. So that's still through execution then, right? I thought that would be closing out.
I'm not sure if they will be closing it out as it is, or because I know that when we were on site, there was the issue of IT, where 3M didn't want to open the ports for the package analytics to work completely because our management and their management must sign non-disclosures and IT agreements before that can happen. And that process is a bit slow, and so that's why their IT is almost as bad as our IT, if I can put it that way. And they don't play very well, the two IT systems. But yeah, as soon as that gets resolved, I think they can go ahead to the next step to get the package analytics sorted and working. But the rest of the system is looking good.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the update there. The bias cutter, how's that coming, Abdul?
So with the there's some talks back and forth with the between NPM and the customer at the moment. They initially requested us to inspect for 5 quality aspects for the material. One of them we cannot hit, and that's the overlap distance check. So the trial now is to separate the project into 2 separate sections, one that handles the overlap and the other one that will handle the 4 other inspections. So there are these talks going on. The customer is asking for lower resolution, which we cannot meet due to the stability of the product and the curvature of the material and the rubber. Once that is cleared, I think we can start back again into the implementation. So I think now things are slowed down until these things are cleared out. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I realized this, and this was structured that way for like phase 1 and then 2 and 3, just to see if it's feasible. So let's see where that goes. But I think the team is taking all the precautions and being very transparent with the customer.
Exactly.
To move on. So, okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. Sure. The UPS auditing, couple of things I want to capture here and learn on the schedule. So if you have that available, William, we'll look at it a little quick if we have that view of the next few weeks. And then I'd like to hear from Charlie. How's things going also?
Oh, this week I'm in New York. I think the next following weeks I'll be traveling to Texas and California. But so far, I think UPS is pretty held up with the sites because of the COVID situation. So I think the only sites we are currently auditing are Florida, Texas, the one in Arlington, and California side. We've been hitting those 3 sites pretty hard this last couple of weeks.
Okay. So, William, the next Arlington, is that the California site?
That would be Texas.
That's Texas, yeah.
Okay.
So next week we'll be in Texas, and the following week back in California.
Okay. It seems like we're, which is okay. We're back to this, like, is it a 2-week notice? Is that what you're getting from Dave? Or is it more like a month?
It's Roughly, it's about 3 weeks right now, which,
Okay.
you know, in the height of COVID, we were doing it a week-by-week basis. So we're slowly gaining ground and getting the schedule further and further out.
Okay. Okay. So we got the next 2 weeks on the schedule, and then, but we it's an ongoing activity, right? Do we know if there's any concerns, or is it just this is keeps going? Do you have that insight from UPS side on other facilities?
Yeah, I mean, this will continue on through peak,
Okay.
which is just before Thanksgiving for them. And then generally from when their peak season starts through the holidays, we generally are on site as support because a lot of their facilities are running full speed. So they still assign us a facility. We're there for support. If they have any facilities that are actually still in the construction phase, we get those. But I mean, there's no concern about having 2 people for the rest of the year.
Okay. Okay.
And as peak approaches, you know, we've seen in the past, we get closer and closer to peak. You know, they reach out and try and get more than 2 guys. So we've accommodated that in the past, and you know, always willing to get the job done, I guess.
Okay, perfect. So, Charlie, once again, thank you for being out there for all of us, right? You're on the front end. Please continue to do all the precautions, and please stay safe. And when you see the rest of the team, thank them for us on person. Last time it was Terry with us, so I'll be connecting with Moses as well. But please be careful out there, and we cannot thank you enough, you and the team and everybody out there on the front side.
Thank you.
Okay, William, just a side note, as we get closer to this peak season, see when it's proper to have the discussions about that standby support. Sometimes it was up in the air, and with this big wave of other needs, it might be around that time, just that we know what to forecast for. So once you find it, you know, proper to have that discussion, please do that.
Will do.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Alcon, I think that one is closed out. Gary, do you want to share anything on that one? Maybe also touch on the lessons learned that was put together. What's your thoughts there, like all in all, on Alcon?
Well, yeah, this one is complete, and I haven't heard from them for over 3 weeks now, so that's a good sign that everything is working as it intended to. We did have a meeting, a lessons learned meeting, and yeah, we went over several things from my end as well as from the project manager, CPM Pro side, and CPM 3 was also there. And so, yes, so Jack Olson, who is the project manager, who put together a summary that I think William has now included that in our document.
Yeah, so as William is pulling that out, it's that was a good practice, you know, coming together with the team who were involved with that, and then reflecting on that project. What it's not just what went wrong. I like to look at the both sides, like what did really work well. That's lessons learned is a combination of the two. I tend not to segregate the two things, like what to build on that really worked out, so it'd be good practice. and what didn't work so well. So we want to always keep that in mind and look at both sides of the equation. So I know there was a document on that. Well, you probably have it on the Alcon project, William, if I followed you there. So that would be the practice going forward. Is not only the trick here is not only to document it, but we need to go back to those lessons learned and look through it, because it's worth a lot. So we'll see how we can be creative with that, because we got carried away when it gets to lessons learned. Okay, with that said, yeah, it's on that project page, which you can follow through that link. So basically, highlights of this, you can go back and read it and look through it. Please do, everyone, and provide insight. I mean, this is a two-way channel here. The whole thing, the whole idea behind this meeting and this gathering is to bring in, for situational awareness, bring in transparency on all fronts. So we are, it's all relevant. Every single thing here, it's relevant to each and every one of us. And as you see, we're progressing, and then we're maturing and making this a practice. There's no one size fit all. There's not one process that cuts it all. So please chime in, whether you have some ideas, whether you have some reservations. It doesn't matter. We welcome all of this, and let's keep uplifting this and trying to to grow the business. There's a lot of things here to reflect on. And one important thing, if you have an activity that you're supporting or you're a part of and that's not here, please add it. You can add a card yourself or get with William or myself. We'll be more than happy to do that with you and create a template. We can guide you through the whole process, but we need that transparency. So I want to leave you with that. If anything comes to mind right now, please bring it up. I mean, we got like 4 or 5 minutes left here. Anything comes to mind. I mean, there's 3 takeaways. I want to just recap real quick. I want to know where we stand on the vision, training, and everything else. So Gary, can you please go on mute? There's a lot of noise coming from your side. Thank you. The training on vision and anything else, the projects, if it's not included in here, those are critical things. So any comments? Okay, I think we're all set. I believe Alex mentioned next week he's got a training game plan going on. How long do you need for next week, Alex?
Oh, it's probably, I'll try to keep it within 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's all we have here. I just want to thank you all for your participation. Look through this, come back with any of these comments or feedback. And until then, have a great weekend and please stay safe, everyone.
Great. Have a great
weekend. Have a great day, everybody.
Yep. Thank you, Salim. Bye-bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Next week.
Bye-bye.